Hello everyone, this is a self-elected ape of the year once again, and I'm just going to do a quick opinion video about the game Battle of Stalingrad. People have been asking me pretty frequently what I think about the game, and just to say it beforehand, this is not going to be a real review on the game, like I did it in the early alpha stages. This is going to be just my personal opinions on some criticisms and some things that I think about the game, and I will make a real review in the future when the game is final and really released, which is going to happen in a few weeks. And when this is going to be the case, I will do a real review. But this is just a quick thought summary about the game that I have, because some people were asking me about it. First of all, I like the game very much. And if you would ask me which game do I prefer, Cliffs of Dover or Battle of Stalingrad, I couldn't really tell which game I do really prefer. I think both games have their pros and cons, and both games are a lot of fun and have definitely a justification for existence. Yeah, it's not really that I can make a big difference between the two games in which is a better quote unquote game. So now I'm going to start just with the criticism that I have about this game, and I'm going to to argue why. So first of all, when I hit the ignition and let the plane start, you see right here all the different kinds of buttons are being pushed. All the levers are being handled. Here's some fuel pumping going on. He set up the magnetos. Now the inertia wheel is starting, and you see that in just a moment he will even pull it again. Now I'm going on my brakes here. So, and there we go. Seems like, okay, nearly managed to drown the engine there. But yeah. Now you will ask yourself, what's the criticism here? The big criticism is that I cannot push those buttons myself, and that on the other hand, everything seems to be modeled. Everything seems to be in the game. So you see, he's doing the yeah, when you are ready and yeah, how's the word? Uh, hmm. Not the takeoff procedure, but the contrary. And you see that even this is all in the game. All the buttons are actually working. All the processes in the cockpit, everything is implemented in the game. But I cannot even map it on the keyboard. So yeah, well, I just think this is a little bit sad. Uh, but on the other hand, I also have to say that it does not really break the immersion too much, because at least I can see that everything is working. I have the authentic feeling of really having a takeoff procedure, and everybody can get into the joy of experiencing it, because maybe some people wouldn't have the endurance to go through and learn all this stuff. So yeah, this is my first criticism that I have. The other thing is, if I'm just closing the canopy here, you can see that I got the headrest here, and the reason for this is that they have reset all the unlocks that you can have for the planes, and now you have to unlock every little uh, update for the plane, or additional stuff for the plane, loadout stuff. You have to unlock that in a single player campaign. And I think many people that are playing the game are going to agree with me here that this is real. It's really, let's to say it honestly, it's bullshit. And I just would be very happy if one would be able to unlock all these features just by playing the multiplayer campaign. I think that the developers just think that they have a extremely good single player campaign on their hands and they just want to force everybody to experience it so nobody is missing it. And I'm sure they will have their reasons, but I think it's a little bit it's not the best way. So yeah, it's their choice, but this is my criticism, and I don't like that. I don't like to be forced to play the single player in this game to get all the features for my planes, and yeah, I would be very pleased if I could do that in the multiplayer. But well, it's their choice, and this is my criticism. The next thing is um, just a quick thing about the flight physics in the game. The flight physics in this game, they are very good, and I'm going to talk about the positive stuff just after this last criticism point. But the planes and everything, the behavior of the planes, feels a little bit twitchy, a little bit too light. Kraut described it very good. He said kitey. So everything feels a little bit like very light planes, and this makes sense because this game is based on the engine of Rise of Flight, and Rise of Flight is a game that plays in the First World War. So very light wooden planes, and you feel in this game very much that it's pretty similar in some aspects, and it's not too bad, and you can fix it, at least kind of, by adjusting the flight control input curves to be exponential and not linear. So the stick, for example, doesn't react immediately, but a little bit slower. And by fixing this and getting your own settings done in the game, you can have a good feeling, and it doesn't ruin the flight experience. But nevertheless, I have to say that I think it's a shame because the whole flight behavior and the whole flight physics thing about this game is extremely good, but the planes just feel a little bit too light. This is my third criticism about it, and this is all that I can criticize about this game. So if they manage to get the mapping for the cockpit so you can actually really push the buttons maybe with the mouse like you can do in Cliffs of Dover, if they enable everybody to unlock everything via the multiplayer campaign, and if they maybe tweak the flight system just a little bit so the planes are a little bit heavier. I'm not sure. Maybe it's probably not as easy as it's not as easy as it sounds, you know. I've been doing some programming just as a little hobby when I was younger, and I know that programming is very difficult, and if you want to change something after you have something, it's not so easy because yeah, nothing is going to work anymore. So maybe it's not as easy as it sounds, but this would be awesome if the planes just felt a little bit more heavy. But yeah, that's all. If these criticism points weren't there, the game would be absolutely perfect. 5 out of 5 stars. Uh, and yeah, the positive things about this game. First off, starting with the most important, um, it's working. The patches and everything that you have to install, it's all working automatically. So there's absolutely no distress in getting this game to run. It's a whole different story, for example, with Cliffs of Dover. You have to install a lot of patches manually, and you will go through a lot of distress sometimes here and there. I mean, it's not as bad as it was once, but still, you still have to install all those patches manually, and not everybody is going to be willing to do that, of course. So in this game, you just hit the install button, and you just play the game. Everything is being done for you, and this is how it should be in a game that you pay a lot of money for. So absolutely pleased with this aspect, and I have had a very, very rare crash, and this was mainly because my own fault. For example, if I tapped out of the game very quickly a lot of times or something, the game might crash there, but if you just don't do anything stupid with the game won't crash on you. So it's absolutely stable, and it's absolutely working in the way it is intended, you know? So first, very, very important thing, that this game is working, and I hope that it's going to produce a big community, and a lot of people are going to play the game. The next thing, the flight physics in this game feel extremely alive. the immersion that you have while flying, with all the sounds, the way that everything is done, the blackout effect, and yeah, just overall the immersion is extremely well done. The feeling of the plane is extremely alive, even if it's feeling a little bit too light. You can get used to this very easily. You can adjust the flight settings, like I said, the curves, and then you will have an extremely alive feeling simulation on your hands, and you can enjoy this extremely. So this is the second big point about the thing. It feels good. It feels absolutely good, and it feels just, yeah, it's difficult to explain, but I would really say it just feels alive, much more than, for example, DCS or Cliffs of Dover, which are more linear feeling, if you know what I mean by that. This is more dynamic here. Next thing, which is very good about this game, is it has a very good balance between simulation and game. So it's not like it's an extremely hard-lined simulator, but on the other hand, it's not a boring game where you don't have to do anything and don't have to learn anything. So it is a challenge. You have to learn some stuff, but at the same time, it's not like you can't play this game just with your friends on a Friday night when you had some beers, you know? And so it's a little bit different than DCS, for example. And this is what I mean with having a good balance between simulator and game. It's a lot of fun, and the focus still is on fun, but still, it doesn't forget about the simulator aspect. And I think this game does it perfectly. It has a perfect balance between the two. Then let's get into the balance of the different fractions, the allies and the axis. I think that it's also here going the perfect middle way between historical accuracy and having a good game experience. For example, the planes of the Axis players are definitely stronger, like they historically should be. And at the same time, they manage to give everybody a fair game experience. And I feel like with the same amount of skill on both sides, both player fractions have the same amount of chances. So I would say it's a pretty balanced game experience, but at the same time, it's still historically correct. And if you know how to use the German planes, and if you know how to use the Soviet planes, you can have a very good time in this game. So now let's go to the last point, the graphics. I'm not going to take off here and show you everything, but there are lots of videos where you can see it, that the graphics are top notch. It's really gorgeous. The game is just beautiful, and it feels good at the same time. So overall, the immersion is there, and I would just say that this game is definitely recommendable, and I would give this game 4 out of 5 stars. And to compare it, for example, with Cliffs of Dover, I would also give 4 out of 5 stars. And the reason that I would give this game not 5 stars were the 3 things that I spoke about in the beginning of the video. And for example, for Cliffs of Dover is a little bit different. Cliffs of Dover is very, yeah, it's you have a lot. You need to do a lot of stuff to get it running first, you know, in the real quality. So you have to install all those Team Fusion patches, and yeah, this just takes away one star from Cliffs of Dover. And here we also have 1 star taken away because it doesn't have the clickable cockpit. It doesn't have this yeah, these 2 things that I said. For example, that you have to unlock the features for your plane, which I think is bullshit in a game like this, because yeah, it's my personal opinion. So would I buy this game again? Definitely. Do I think it's the best game ever, best flight sim ever? As it is right now, it's not the best game ever, but I think it has a lot of potential for the future. And if you think about it, if this simulation gets successful and many people buy it, then there's definitely a big chance that there are going to be lots of different theaters of war. So we will have a lot of different landscapes, other planes like Spitfires and Mustangs and whatnot, you know. And if this game really develops into a franchise like the old IL-2, then we are going to have a really, really good game on our hands. So would I recommend it to buy? Definitely. And I hope that many people are going to buy this game. And I think it's one of the big hopes of the new era of flight simulators. And just because it's not a complete hardline simulator, I think that many people can enjoy this game. So definitely buy it. That's my personal opinion. I will do a very detailed review on it with different pictures of different situations, lots of explosions, and show you everything. But I'm going to do that when the game is final and released, so everything is really in a final stage. So until then, see you guys, and this was the self-elected Ape of the Year, signing off.